This wipe has been so good. I've been having so much fun. Been trying all these different builds. But we're getting to the point now, later in the season, where a lot of the players you come up against in some of the uncapped lobbies, in uncapped normals, in high roller, just have incredibly powerful gear. There's so much powerful gear, so many powerful builds out there, that I'm struggling to have fun in the uncapped lobbies because I don't always want to put on my best stuff and risk that and go in and just get 2-tapped. Darn. Look at this dude. And all that kit is just gone. Sometimes I want to play more of a casual game. I want to go in and just play around, make mistakes, have a bit more of a slower game, and more test my skill against other players instead of testing my gear. So because of that, I thought I would make a video to help newer players intentionally keep themselves in a middle tier lobby of play and help give you a good foundation as you play around and test your skill against other players in the middle tier normal lobby. Centaur's Madness. Agility 37. Uh-oh. I made a mistake. In terms of the gear score lobbies, there are 3 of them. There's low roller, mid roller, and uncapped normals. To get into the low roller lobby, you need to have a gear score of 24 or less. And I've already made a video on how you can optimize a build for Shield Fighter to get into that low roller lobby, to keep your gear score under 24. On the other end of the spectrum, there's the uncapped normals lobby that is for gear scores of anything 125 or above. That means if you have a gear score of 130, chances are you'll be put into a lobby with other players that have a gear score of 300, 400 plus. So you really want to be careful because if you go over 124, even by a single number, if you're at 125, chances are you're going to be running up against some very bist out kits, some very difficult PvP opponents. And if that's what you're looking for, cool, but maybe there are players out there who don't know that and maybe would prefer not to be lumped in with those super kitted players if they could avoid it. Oh, I missed him. I missed him. Our focus here, the target of this video, is to keep you in that mid-roller normals lobby, between a gear score of 25 and 124. It's a way to make sure that you're going up against players that have similarly powerful gear, right? That you're not going to be totally stat checked by someone in a very powerful kit, but instead you can expect that everyone in the lobby is going to have a similar level of gear power. Yes, there are ways to min-max this. We're not going to be talking about min-maxing to the extreme. Some players go to the extreme within that 124 and below gear score. This is more just kind of like recommendations for how you can build a Shield Fighter kit to play around in this mid-roller lobby and help you have a good foundation of gear so you can test your skill against other players in this lobby. Oh! Wow, that was very close, my friend. That was very close. GG. Great fight. There's going to be one kit that's more offense focus. There's going to be another kit that's more defense focus. And then there's kind of a meme kit I'm calling the chairman build that is, I guess you could say, offensive. It's just not very practical, but it's a lot of fun. Oh, I gotcha. That was close. Okay, 3 different kits, Shield Fighter builds, lots of food for thought. Here we go. Before we dive into the builds, one more thing to talk about, and that is how gear score is actually calculated, based on the things you have in your inventory. So I've got some example weapons, shields, and jewelry here in my stash. You can see here I've got every rarity tier in mace, and as I drag a mace into my inventory, you can see that my gear score is adjusted based on the kind of item it is and the rarity of that item. So this is a poor mace, and you can see I have a gear score of 1. Compare this poor mace to a common mace. A common mace has a gear score of 2. An uncommon mace has a gear score of 27. Okay. A rare mace has a gear score of 36. An epic mace, 54. And finally, a legendary mace, 72. So you can see it doesn't take much for you to bring in a few of these things, and all of a sudden your gear score, bam, is totally over that 124 mark. We do not want to go over 124 gear score because that puts us into the uncapped normals lobby. The idea here is for us to build a kit that keeps our stuff under 124. The other thing I've noticed is that the ranged weapons have a much higher gear score than their melee counterparts. So we can see here a common mace has a gear score of 2. A common recurve bow has a gear score of 4. That's interesting. An uncommon mace, 27. An uncommon bow, 45. A rare mace, 36. A rare recurve bow, 60. So a very big difference here for bringing in higher rarity ranged weapons. 90 for the epic recurve bow. 120 for the legendary recurve bow. So if you're planning on bringing in any rarity ranged weapon, the gear score associated with these ranged weapons is much higher than the melee weapons. So we'll keep that in mind as we're looking to build our kits. The same thing exists with the rarity and armor as well. So we're not going to go through everything, but you can see these green adventurer boots have a gear score of 12, rare 16, epic 24, legendary 32. The last thing we'll check in on is the rings, is jewelry. The uncommon ring has a gear score of 9. The rare ring has a gear score of 12. The epic ring has a gear score of 18. And the legendary ring has a gear score of 24. We'll just keep this in mind as we're reviewing the kits. Missed. And remember that utility items, like throwables, like heals, they can have rarity as well. So this rarity, you can see I'm at 128. I don't want that. I want to be at 124 or below for mid-roller. And it's because I've got this green potion of healing. Sometimes it's really easy to do a drop, do a raid, come back and sell all your regular stuff, but forget about the potions you have, or forget about some of the utility you picked up. And these items can very easily put you over that 124 gear score cap. So just double check that your utility is all common or below to make sure your gear score is accurate and is what you want it to be. Okay, cool. So the whole point of this build, the reason I love it, the reason I love Shield Fighter in general, is because this build is so balanced. Playing a Shield Fighter in this style, I basically never feel like I come across a hard counter. With a kit like this, I've got a fighting chance against every player I can come across in the dungeon. And that's by design. We'll talk about the gear, we'll talk about the stats, we'll talk about the perks and skills. You'll notice we have a gear score of 121. So we are under the cap. There is still some wiggle room, right? If you want to make alterations to this, we're not quite at 124, so I'm not playing this super perfectly. The idea is to give you the foundation and you can iterate and build on it from there. The build uses a mace and a heater shield, both common. It uses a recurve bow. It also holds onto a buckler and a rapier in the backpack for fast switching to chase down casters or players that are running from you. I'll be playing with a mace and shield most of the time because for most of my opponents, I want the flange mace to punch through the armor. I want the heater shield because it gives me the most coverage. It's the easiest shield to block with. The buckler and the rapier both don't have as much move speed penalty, and so I switch to these when I'm in the chase. I also have preferred the rapier over the rondel dagger after some experimentation because the rapier just has a bit of a longer reach and an attack pattern that I'm a little more familiar with. The recurve bow is here because I know a lot of players do like to use the bow for chip damage, for damage at range. This isn't my go-to, to be honest, but I think including it in this versatile build is good because other players are going to be comforted by having a bow, by having a ranged option. For me, the recurve bow is just the perfect balance between draw speed, projectile speed, damage, and overall movement speed. That's why we have the bow, right? That's why we have the bow. Hit him again. When I say this is a really versatile shield fighter build, what do I mean by that? I mean that the stats are balanced for various things. There is a high amount of agility because movement speed is so important in solo lobbies. And this really is a build primarily tailored for playing in solos. So agility is high because we want the move speed. We need the move speed to keep up with other players in the normal lobbies that also have high move speed. You'll notice the second highest stat here is will. And this is a new one for me. This took me some getting used to. This took a lot of really smart people helping me in the YouTube comments learn what will does. Will does some very beneficial things for the fighter. Will increases the duration of your buffs. So my sprint, my second wind will last for longer. That's obviously very good for sprint. It means my sprint will last longer. I'll go farther. I'll be able to catch up to people more easily. It also works for second wind. It increases the duration of second wind, which increases the number of times you get the tick health recovery bonus. So it used to be that there was a certain amount, a fixed amount that second wind would give back, and having a longer buff duration, it would just take you longer to get that health back. That has been changed. So now the longer second wind is active, the more health you actually recover. So having a higher will, which increases your buff duration, is going to increase the amount of health you get back from second wind, which is awesome. Oop. Blocked. Second wind. And we'll sprint for good measure. He's got a mob behind him? No. More time for my second wind. That's fine. His crossbow's not reloaded. More time for my second wind. Oh. High will also increases your magic resistance. So you're going to take less damage from magical damage sources, which is also really, really useful. And it also improves your debuff duration. So anytime you are cursed or have a Shriek of Weakness or have any other sort of negative debuff applied to you, having a higher will is going to reduce the amount of time that those debuffs are active. So overall, will, very, very interesting, very, very important for a shield fighter. Next on the list is dexterity. This is still a shield fighter build where we intend to block first and counterattack. And so we need to have a decent amount of dexterity to do that reliably. In my opinion, 20 is the base level, is the lowest level of dexterity I would like to go. I wouldn't recommend going any lower than 20 dexterity because then your action speed really starts to suffer. Action speed determines the speed of your block, the speed of your counterattack. So you want to make sure you have a dexterity of 20 or above. And this build does that. Right, and then we have 17 both in strength and vigor. So the amount of damage you do, your base HP, your HP recovery. It's nice to have a little bit of stat here in strength and vigor. Oh, but you'll also notice we have 19 in resourcefulness. Resourcefulness is very good because it increases your regular interaction speed. So how fast you open doors, very important. But also it improves the cooldown time of your buffs. So it kind of dovetails with a high will. If will extends your buff duration, resourcefulness decreases the amount of time your buffs are in cooldown. So your buffs last longer because of will. Your buffs are up again faster because of resourcefulness. So very useful to have a bit of resourcefulness in the build. Great. How are we getting these stats? These stats are coming from our base gear. They're coming from our armor and our jewelry. Let's talk about it. This build uses 2 pieces of rare armor, rare Templar armor, and old shoes. It also uses uncommon leather leggings, uncommon leather gloves, and uncommon Crusader helm. You'll also notice we're being very selective in what we're looking for in our supporting stats for these pieces. Basically, everything here stacks agility. The reason we're looking for that is because, again, move speed is so important in the solo lobbies. So we're making sure that we're looking for these pieces that also have agility. For the jewelry, I'm using a rare fox pendant because that gives me more agility. I'm using a rare ring of courage for more strength and a rare ring of vitality for more vigor. This is what helps get our strength and vigor stats off the ground and gives us even more agility for even more movement speed. Overall, this is a super versatile, super balanced fighter build, shield fighter build, with a great blend of stats. The move speed is 296, which is pretty fast. The PDR is 28.3. The magic resistance is 20%. Buff duration plus 26%. So that's huge. So this could tack on almost 2 additional seconds to our sprint, which in melee combat, 2 seconds is a very long time. It also means that our second wind is a full 1/4 longer. So we're going to be recovering health for an extra 26% of duration time when second wind is active. So that's very exciting. The last thing I'll talk about is perks and skills. So this build uses shield mastery, counterattack, barricade, and weapon mastery. I've talked about these before. I'm not going to go into much detail here. We need weapon mastery to allow us to equip the recurve bow and the rapier. For skills, sprint and second wind, only because I think these are 2 of the most versatile skills, and the idea here is versatility, is flexibility, is giving you an answer to all sorts of different situations you could run up against. Yes, Adrenaline Rush is excellent. Yes, Perfect Block is very useful in some situations. Yes, Victory Strike, or shield slam could be useful in other situations. Because we want versatility, adrenaline rush just doesn't give you the move speed bonus that you need sometimes. And second wind is just so powerful in the recoverable health that not having it means you have to play a lot more carefully and you don't have as much survivability in the dungeon. So because versatility and flexibility are the name of the game, I'm going with sprint and second wind. Other builds are going to look at other skills in combination that you can explore, but for this one, these two are what I recommend. It's going to be the fighter. Yeah, it's the fighter. On the traps. I missed him. How many hits? Huh. How many hits? Yes, yes. Yoy, yoy, yoy. GG, guys. Bink. Oh, my goodness. A book.
Body.
Yeah, right. Oh, GG, man. He tried everything. Wrap him in here. Close one. One for one. Hit him. He's trying to blame his lag. Let's heal up here. Missed. Mom's still in the picture. Got him. GG. Oh, that was close. hit the wall. Block him. He's on the trap. Ha! This guy. Long sword, phantom eyes. It's hard to parry, eh, when I jump at you like that? Let's keep practicing. Come on, let's keep practicing. Come on over here. Let's go.
Are you Flynn? Hey, recognize your voice.
Oh, man.
Alright, keep going.
How's it going, man? That's better. Come on, let's get over here. Let's go this way. Come on. Rats, eh? Rats. Filthy rats. Are you? I don't think you are. In rat form? You gonna BOC your rat form? You gotta hit me first, bro. If you wanna one-shot me, you gotta hit me. There you go. That's it. Get the confidence level up. Nice try, man. This guy was gonna one-shot me, remember? It's my hander. Second wind. Went low. He hit the ground. Ooh, I got him. I don't have my perfect block, so that was tough.
Yo, what you doing?
What are you doing?
You doing?
Oh, that was close. Sorry, man. GG. Nice try. It's a long sword. You probably saw me. Wow. Yep. There is. Just looting. Page is on me. Oops. Got him. GG. And so here's a look at the second build, the offensively minded build. It uses a mace and a heater shield in the primary slot, an arming sword, a buckler in the secondary slot. We're not running a bow with this build because we're not trying to do chip damage from distance. We're trying to rush in, close the gap, and get as close to our opponents as possible. So we're anticipating more of an all-in melee strategy, and to help with that, we've got a little more armor. We have Dark Plate, Crusader Helm, Light Gauntlets, and then to complement the move speed, we've got Loose Trousers and Adventure Boots. For the blend of rarity, because this is offensively minded, we have a blue mace for more damage output, and on the mace, I like to look for a combination of buff duration bonus, additional weapon damage, or max health. So we're seeing that here. We can keep common on the heater shield, the arming sword, and the buckler. I'm also using Squire Kit common gear for my Crusader Helm and my Light Gauntlets. Because they give me good base stats anyways, I don't need to go any higher there. I am choosing an uncommon Dark Plate chest piece because it gives me slightly better stats. And again here, I'm just looking for any other supporting stat that complements the playstyle. So damage bonus, armor rating, maybe buff duration bonus, any of those things work here. Most of the gear score is going towards the pants and the boots. And so for the pants and the boots, I'm looking for a balance of agility and dexterity. I want a balance of move speed and action speed. And these two pieces give me that. And here when I'm shopping for these, I'm looking for any other complementary stat like dexterity, vigor here, buff duration. Any of that works, but the dexterity here is important in my opinion. The adventure boots similarly, they give me dexterity as a base, so I'm looking for agility as an add-on. Also, will can help with magic resistance and buff duration, which is always good. And then there is room here. I'm not going crazy min-max, right? There is more room for expression. I've just got a blue ring of courage and a green ring of finesse. But there is room to explore here. It looks like you can probably go... Yeah, it looks like the build can tolerate having 3 pieces of uncommon jewelry. So if you prefer to go with that, if there's a better blend of stats you can get with mixing 3 uncommons, then you can definitely go for that. But here, I don't mind. Totally not min-maxing, and I'll just choose this blue ring. Got a little extra true fizz. But if you've got lots of jewelry to play with, this build can accommodate 3 uncommon pieces, which is great. The utility, again, the most important thing is bringing 2 oil lanterns, because this really helps with fighting warlocks and fighting druids in rat form. And like I said, I'm not running a bow with this build. I have my primary mace and heater, my secondary arming sword and buckler for closing the gap on certain opponents. But I'm not bringing a bow because I want to get as close to my opponents as I can and get into melee and sustained melee as often as I can. Okay, that's the idea. One last thing is I'm not running weapon mastery because all of these things are native to fighter. I am running adrenaline spike because again I am looking to get into sustained melee, and if I do take damage that drops me below half, getting that extra bit of action speed toward the end of a melee fight can be really helpful. Sprint and second wind here are the skills. Sprint for closing the gap and second wind for recovering health when I need it. Okay, that's a rundown of the offensive build. Let's drop into some PvP. Maybe a longsword? Unfortunate for him.
Dude.
Got him. Surprised the crap out of him. He had 3 pelts on him. Save me. GG, man. Could he hear me? Damn. Tank it. My man is a tank. GG. Yes, please. Do 2, we'll do 3, we'll do 4. Drags. GG, man. Man, I like your style. Shield slam? Yes, please.
I am trying to use it.
It's tough.
Feels
Yep.
like the shield is fucking lubed up in oil. It like slides off of people and trying to hit with it.
You gotta be real close. You gotta be as close as humanly possible.
Hey, are you Blinn?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Fucking, oh my god. Bro, your fucking videos are the reason I'm playing this build.
Aw. I was gonna say it looked familiar. Like I was gonna say this looks like, you know, this looks interesting. Good dex build. Love to see it, man.
Funny, I like just subscribed to you.
Oh, right on, man.
Out there.
I'll see you in there. I got him. Wait for him. We have a third party. Third party is not great. Okay, the third party's been put aside. He pulled the mob. He went for the Hell Shrine. No second wind. Third one. Punish. Got him. Absolutely got him. Almost. Nice try, man. It's bandaging. Wait for him. Oh, I got him. It's like a legendary longbow. Or, yeah, epic longbow. Interesting. Forest boots. Yeah, the bows, as we saw, have a very high gear score. So this guy's all in on his longbow. Damn it. Damn. Damn. I missed him. Damn. Oh, I would have hit him too. Oof, close, close, close. This is juicy. This dude had some things. The cool thing about this build, the fun thing about this build is it really doesn't take much. All you need is like 4 green pieces and then a green neck. I make an exception for the build. I go for a blue mace just because I want the extra damage output and a green shield. You probably don't need to do green shield. Yeah, it looks like if you go with a poor shield, you've got more room in the gear score for extra jewelry. But for me, I don't mind so much just going in with not like full jewelry because chances are I'm going to find something, I'll put it on. And then I've got a common arming sword and a poor buckler. The utility, of course, is also common, including a common surge kit, which could be good for this build because you don't have second wind. And then just to reiterate the utility, any common utility won't contribute to your gear score. So all greens base pieces, 1 green piece of jewelry. I recommend for the neck, if you can get something with max health, that's going to help because you are not wearing chest armor with this chairman build. The chairman does not wear chest armor. So having a little bit of extra health can be good. At first you might think it's kind of weird to run with no chest armor on a fighter, but because I'm confident with my shield's ability to take a lot of damage off the table, it's actually not the worst approach. Plus, when you don't wear a chest piece, you get a lot of movement speed back. So you're actually a lot faster than your agility score may suggest because you're not being weighed down by your chest armor, which is interesting. And then a really quick note about the skills. I'm using sprint and perfect block. Sprint kind of is self-explanatory. It's just helpful to close the gap, move around. Sprint is always a useful thing to have on fighter. I know there are lots of other interesting skills you can experiment with, but I always end up feeling frustrated when I don't have sprint because there just seem to be so many classes that can they can just outpace me, and it can be really frustrating to not have sprint, in my opinion. So I like to keep it for this build. Perfect block replaces second wind. I'm going with perfect block here because it actually makes the round shield super viable. It charges up the round shield with maximum blocking power, so you'll be able to stop any melee attack in the game. The Bardiche, the Warmaul, it doesn't matter what it is. With perfect block on the round shield, you can block it. You can stop it and interrupt the combo, which is great. That's kind of like the sneaky part of this build. You're kind of in disguise. You look a bit unassuming, you look really weak, and your shield is really weak. The round shield by itself is like the worst shield in the game, but combined with perfect block, it's actually really, really powerful. So the whole thing here is just you look unassuming, but it turns out you've got skill with the shield, you've got perfect block, and that's a really fun combination. I'm also carrying the arming sword and buckler because these two weapons are native to fighter. I don't need to have weapon mastery. I can run something like adrenaline spike, which I find is very, very useful when you get into those last few hits in the melee fight. Adrenaline spike can give you the action speed you need to get the killing blow before your opponent does. And that's very helpful again when you can't take too many hits because you're not wearing a lot of armor. So to recap, don't be precious here. Really anything that's going to give you dexterity, agility, plus whatever other stats you like on your main 4 armor pieces. Anything you've got. This is a great build for like anything you got in the stash. Just throw it on, mess around with blocking, mess around with perfect blocking. I find that it's like kind of no F's given. Like it's just kind of a who cares build. It's really fun. You're really fast. And if you can come out with some wins, it feels really, really good. It feels good to outskill people with a round shield. It's just a lot of fun. Highly recommend. Now for some more combat highlights. Didn't know what to do. Got really hurt by that fire pod too. GG, man. Wait, the fireballs. Oops, I missed my jump. I'll sprint at him now. Good door tech. GG, man. Nice try. faster, maybe? Whoa! Panther. Got him. That was lucky. Rushed him. Dodged the stabs. GG, man. Let's see if they see me. Let's see. GG, man. Darn. He's pretty good there. Spacing is pretty good there. Got him. Mace dragging. Got him. Rip block to the rescue. He had moves. I'll give him that. I like your sword and shield style. You want to try to block my mace? You gotta be careful because the buckler is so small, you gotta look all the way up if you want to block my overhead shots. It feels weird, but you gotta go all the way up. You also have to kind of do it as soon as you see me attack because the server desync. You gotta look at... See, I'm trying to psych you out. You gotta go as soon as you see it. That's it. As soon as you see any indication of attack. Yeah, and then you can also crouch and look up. That gives you a little more time. That's it. That's exactly how you do it. Oh, nice. Right on, man. Okay, good fight. Whoa! The shield slam. Forgot about that. Ooh, nice shield slam, man. Oh! GG! Awesome. Love to see it. So that's the chairman build. Not for the faint of heart, we'll say. Cool. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and your interest in shield content, blocking content. I've got a weekly live stream called The Board Meeting. This is the board chairman. He presides over the board meeting every Monday, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a really chill, fun live stream with a bunch of other shield enjoyers. So stop by, say hello. Be cool to see you there. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.